and I'm pleased to be joined on this week's show by the Chief of Harbor Programs at the Army Corps of Engineers, Mr. Bill Slezak. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
And John Dobashevitz of Future City Incorporated, who is a trustee and an assistant professor at Kean University. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I know you've been here before, John, so I thank you for taking the time to come back, especially around estuary, and Bill, for all of the work that you do. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that in a few minutes. And first, tell us what National Estuary Program is, John.
Our federal government in 1987 decided to establish a program to look at our estuaries of significance. In New Jersey, for example, we have Raritan Bay up until into the New York Harbor, which is the area we live in, which is of vital interest to our country's security and economic wealth, as well as moving goods in and out and our ability to create jobs. We have Delaware Bay, we also have Barnegat Bay. And these are not just economic opportunities, but places where we have vital recreational activities, and the overall goal is to improve water quality. With that comes looking at land use, as you mentioned in your introduction, looking at habitat, the ecosystem, the organisms that live there. So the program actually gives opportunities like this. They sponsor Estuary Day. So it allows us to share with our local constituents and nationally what's going on across this country, looking at these very special ecosystems.
And Bill, with the Army Corps, first of all, how long have you been with the Army Corps?
I've actually been with the Corps for 33 years now, sir.
And you started with them?
I started them after graduate school.
After graduate school, you went right into the Army Corps, huh?
Yes.
And John just gave us an explanation of the National Estuary Program. How long have you been involved with the estuaries, the harbors, I guess?
Sir, I've been involved with the New York Harbor since I started with the Corps back in 1976. I've had other positions, both with our Washington headquarters and our regional office, but I keep coming back to the harbor. This is really where I have, where my passion is, the opportunity to work both towards the economic development of this area, where we have, of course, the Port of New York and New Jersey, but also to work towards improving habitat and restoring this estuary.
So why is it important? Why is it important nationally? Is it important regionally, or both? And to the little city of Elizabeth, why is it important?
Well, it's all three. As John mentioned, the Harbor Estuary Program was set up as a national program, and about a year after that, the New York and New Jersey Harbor was identified as an estuary of national significance. And as a result, EPA established a program. The Corps of Engineers has been a part of this since its inception, along with the two states, New York and New Jersey. Of course, this is a bi-state estuary. Local governments are involved. The City of New York, certainly the City of Elizabeth, has been a very active player. And so again, it has important national significance, but one of the things that's so significant is that we are in the most populated part of the country. And of course, this creates challenges in terms of, because land is so scarce, in terms of both preserving and restoring habitat. But that's why it's even more important that we do everything we can to both protect and, more importantly, restore the habitat that we do have here.
What is an estuary, John?
I used the word bay before, so I like to start there because that's probably the word we're more familiar with. We talk about Raritan Bay, Barnegat Bay, Delaware Bay. Those are some types of estuaries which fit the broader definition that it's simply a place where fresh water and salt water from the ocean mix and meet. So it's identified by the saltiness or salinity of the water, which is part fresh, part salty, and tides. So it creates unique ecosystems, places where there are specialized organisms that grow there, creating a very vital food chain, not just for the inland area, fish, and the wildlife, especially birds, but also the ocean wildlife. So we have a lot of fish that migrate in and out of the estuary. The young are born kind of in the protected area of the estuary where it's a little bit safer, a little bit more shelter. The waves aren't as ferocious as they are on our coastlines. And then when they get large enough, they can move out into fresh water. So again, stimulating our recreational needs, but also part of our use, our ability to fish. Although we support catch and release, we're always cautious of that. There are a lot of places where you can catch the fish and use them as a food supply.
Now, the estuary, when saltwater meets freshwater, we're in the Arthur Kill and the Bay areas. Does it actually travel, say, to the Hudson River or the Passaic River? Are they considered estuaries, Bill, or not really?
Yes, they are. As John mentioned, estuaries are where the freshwater and the saltwater meet. In the case of this estuary, we have saltwater that goes up the Hudson all the way up to Peekskill, New York. In the case of some of the New Jersey waters, we have saltwater up to the Oradell Reservoir in the Hackensack River. In the Raritan River, we have it all the way up to New Brunswick. And in the Passaic River, we have saltwater that goes up pretty much to the Dundee Dam. So it's a very large area. We have the tidal elevation is about 5 to 6 feet, which happens on a twice daily basis, and it's the tides that provides the energy for the tremendous amount of mixing that we get, and that's what carries the salt water so far into our river systems.
And is that important to the ecosystem that John was talking about?
It is. As John mentioned, the estuaries are key to the food chain. Frequently in estuaries you have marshes. Unfortunately, we've lost most of the marshes in this area. The marshes are some of the most productive ecosystems on Earth. They're up there with rainforests, for instance. Most people don't realize that. So many fish have a critical stage of their life cycle. Requires being in a marsh. They rely on the food that's produced by the grasses, as well as a lot of snails and other critters that live in the marshes. But also, what marshes also do is absorb floodwaters. They also act as a way of removing nutrients and contaminants from the water. So there's a real water quality benefit to marshes as well.